What's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOLF to WBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001. More importantly, booking the invasion angle. And tonight, we're going to be running Thursday Night Nitro. Before we can get to that, I do have one thing I want to go over real quick. Normally, as I say this many times, I like to upload these on the days that they're supposed to be shown. So this would be usually uploaded on a Thursday. I've not been able to keep that promise as of late, and as of right now, I'm just going to stop trying to upload those on a schedule. With how busy I've been at work lately, with just how often I've been working, add on, when I go to training, now that I'm streaming, there's just a lot of things going on, and well, this is supposed to be fun, right? And I don't want to feel all stressed out and that I have to rush things and hurry things, because, Nitro's got to be up on Thursday, and it's Wednesday, so I got to book it all today in my head, and some things on the show might not turn out the way I want it to because, I rush it. Or, for instance, I make mistakes, and then next thing you know, we have a main event where it's some stupid angle that should have never been there because it was like a last-minute thing I put in, which, by the way, is something I did in the previous recording, because this is actually my second attempt at recording Nitro. But I digress. So, pretty much what I'm saying is expect these invasion videos to come out more of a random basis. It's pretty much going to go up when I finish the show and upload. If we can get back onto that schedule, that would be awesome, but I'm not going to try. It's just going to happen if it happens. Other than that, though, I think I will try to get the Sunday night heats and pay-per-views up on the same days, just because heat usually, or the night of a pay-per-view, that heat usually ties into the pay-per-view. So just for, chronological or, story purposes, that way we don't have one video up that's like, here's something that's happening on Survivor Series, because, that's the next pay-per-view, and then it's like days go on and we haven't even seen Survivor Series, but I'm not going to get into too much of a rant here. I think you guys get where I'm going with this. So either way, let's jump right into the show with a couple pre-show matches. First pre-show match of the night gets a C- rating with a 58. In a terrible pre-show match, the team of Big Boss Man and Perry Saturn going over D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. Those are some familiar faces. Both superstars are actually in our developmental territory. In fact, D'Lo, I believe, was HWA champion for a long period of time until I think he just lost it to Shannon Moore? Either way, I figured why not give them the call-up. Not permanent, just, for the night. They are a former tag team and all that, so why the hell not? And, yeah, look at this. Not a bad match here. In 8 minutes, 6 seconds, when Perry Saturn goes over Mark Henry with a flying elbow drop. Henry was the weak link, unfortunately, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. Boss Man was off his game. Mark Henry apparently is not suited to his gimmick, which is weird because when I looked at the gimmick that I didn't give him, the game gave him, it was rated excellent, so whatever. We already know about Saturn and Boss Man's chemistry. Perry Saturn with a 62, he was the best in the match. Big Boss Man with a 57. Mark Henry with a 27, that's not too bad. And D'Lo Brown with a 49. D'Lo's about ready. If we weren't having a huge invasion angle right now, I probably would have called D'Lo Brown up by now. Perry Saturn is improving in technical, and Mark Henry is improving in performance. As we move into the main event of the pre-show. In a decent pre-show match, Chuck Palumbo going over Dean Malenko in 9 minutes, 33 seconds with the torture rack submission hold with a 71 B- rating here. Chuck was off his game. What the hell, Chuck? What are you doing? Chuck Palumbo, I swear, man. This is kind of a test for Chuck as well, because Dean Malenko's kind of one of those guys who I know can get a good match out of anybody, so I wanted to see pretty much what Dean could do with Chuck. Which, Dean's still not the most popular person in the world, but still, he's getting 65s to Chuck's 70, so I'm starting to doubt Chuck Palumbo, I'm not going to lie. He's a good mid-carder, but I don't think he'll ever be able to make that jump to main event. Oh, duh. to start off the show, sorry, that was the end of the pre-show. Here we go to the start of the show. We started off with a 95 A-star rating as Thursday Night Nitro opens up with chants of Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. As already both Kurt Angle and The Rock, the number one contender to the WCW Championship, Kurt Angle, and the WWF Champion, The Rock, already in the ring. Show's just started. They didn't even bother with theme songs or entrances or anything. They're in the ring. Rock takes the mic. Finally, The Rock has come back to Ontario, Canada. And also, Kurt Angle is here. Kurt kind of gives Rock like, are you serious look? And Rock's like, the Rock kids. Angle then takes the mic and he says, yeah, well, while you may be having fun tonight, tonight is no joking matter, Rock. Because this Sunday, you and I both have very important matches. And while I'll be challenging Booker T for the WCW title, you'll be defending the WWF title against Diamond Dallas Page. And in all honesty, arguably a more important match. And while I've got Booker T's number, you have lost to DDP on numerous of occasions. And Rock just kind of raises his eyebrow. Where are you going with this, Kurt? All I'm saying, Rock, is that you need to get your head in the game. The WWF title is on the line, and we can't afford to lose it to WCW. You need to be at your best. And that's when, bang! Diamond Dallas Page's theme goes off, and out comes the WCW People's Champion as he makes his way towards the entryway with a mic in hand. And he says, yeah, Rock, Kurt's right. You need to be on your A game. Because Kurt may have Booker T's number, but I for damn sure have your number. But before Page can keep going on, we hear, can you dig it, sucker? And out comes the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, who is not happy as he takes the mic, looks DDP right in his eyes, and he says, Page, shut the hell up. I'm getting real sick and tired of hearing you got my number, Kurt. You beat me one damn time. What happened last week, huh? Maybe we put the beating on you too hard, but last week Shane and I punked you. And this Sunday, I'm gonna punk you again. Kurt then responds, well, that's Sunday, Book. And since Rock and I have traveled all this way over to WCW Nitro, why don't we give these fans a preview for what's to come? Why don't you and DDP team up and face Rock and I tonight? I mean, come on. Paige, you're the People's Champion. Book, you're the WCW Champion. You guys gotta send the fans home happy. And then Booker T just like, Kurt, shut the hell up. You want a match? Fine, you got your damn match. Paige and I will see you two idiots tonight. And that sets up our main event of the night, as we will see champions and contenders team up to face champions and contenders. And what should hopefully be a decent match here. So we'll see where that goes. But pretty much it looks like there's some doubt in The Rock. Like Kurt even said so himself. I mean, I've beaten Booker T for the United States Championship. I've got his number. Paige has beaten you on numerous occasions right now. You've only beaten him once. So he's kind of got your number. You need to be in your A game pretty much. And there's a little doubt going on in The Rock. But we had a couple backstage incidents here. Stone Cold Steve Austin doing work again, as always, helping out his protege Rhino, this time on microphone. And then yours truly tried to meddle in Jeff Hardy and Canyon's relationships because they had a little bit of tension between them after one of them injured each other. I believe Canyon injured Jeff. I'm not entirely sure. I did try to meddle in it to improve it, but in fact it backfired on me. So unfortunately, Canyon and Jeff Hardy now have a strong dislike for one another. So, my bad. That's okay, though. So Shane was out here, which didn't really need to be, but whatever. That's okay. Technically, he shouldn't even be here yet, but we'll ignore that. It did get the crowd show off to a strong start. Crowd got hotter. Rock looked excellent. Booker T was fantastic, and DDP was good. Kurt, on the other hand, was just there. No worker improvements as we move into the announcement, I guess, as Dusty Rhodes, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mike Tenay are, well, we just learned tonight our main event of the night will be Kurt Angle and The Rock battling Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page, and then Dusty chimes in. By the way, that got a solid 80B. Dusty chimes in afterwards with a 75 B minus, saying, and by the way, don't forget tonight that Shane McMahon, Shane O'Mac, will be here, and he says he's got a huge announcement. That's a horrible Dusty Rhodes impersonation. I feel like I do dishonor to Dusty Rhodes when I do that accent. I'm just not good at it. Not a good Dusty impersonator here. And everybody can do one, but me. We then go to our opening match of the night that gets a 75 B minus here. Here's my point, nerds and geeks. Mark Jindrak and Eddie Guerrero. To be honest, they are both upper mid-carders, where Chuck Palumbo was able to do it with Dean Malenko. But I still feel like there's something to point out here. Either way, in a decent match, Eddie Guerrero going over Mark Jindrak in 7 minutes 37 seconds by disqualification. 75 B minus. Let me explain what happened here. So the referee gets knocked out somehow. I don't know how, but does. Maybe Jindrak accidentally knocks him down with a shoulder tackle or some shish. At this point, Eddie Guerrero sees the referees down, sees his opportunity. Chavo Guerrero slides a chair into Eddie, and Eddie goes to grab the chair, but before he can hit Mark Jindrak with this, I think you know where I'm going. Before he can hit Mark Jindrak with the steel chair, he sees the referee getting up, so Eddie thinks. And instead of hitting Mark Jindrak, he misses him intentionally and smacks the chair into the canvas, making the sound like it hit something. He then tosses the chair to Mark Jindrak. Jindrak catches it. Eddie falls to the ground. Referee is back up now. Eddie's acting like he was knocked out. Referee sees Mark Jindrak with the chair, and despite both Sean Stasiak and despite Lord Regal arguing with the referee saying it didn't happen, the referee doesn't believe him and disqualifies Mark Jindrak because he believes he caught him red-handed. So, classic Los Guerreros here, which is unfortunate because they have horrible chemistry as partners. So, I'm just probably going to have, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, to be honest. Either way, though, Eddie Guerrero going over Mark Jindrak, introducing pretty much the lying, the cheating, and the stealing gimmick with each other. Regal doing good work ringside. Mark Jindrak with a 63. Eddie Guerrero with a 72. Mark Jindrak's really getting up there, guys. I mean, Eddie's one of my better wrestlers. Like, he's rated on the, stupid thing. And I know most of this is, the creative meeting. I know most of this is based off popularity as well. So Jindrak's getting, up there in popularity close to Eddie. But at the same time, he's still holding his own. So Mark Jindrak is definitely improving. This also starts the storyline between these two that most likely might not last too long. So Eddie steals a victory as we go to a backstage segment here with a solid C rating with a 60 rating here. Backstage we see Molly Holly. She's crying to herself, and that's when Lance Storm knocks on the door and he says, "Molly, are you decent? Are you crying?" And that's when he walks inside. He walks up to her and he says, "Hey, what's wrong?" And then Molly says, "Oh, it's nothing. I just got off the phone with Gregory and I found out that he's going to be out of action for the next 5 months. Just when things were starting to look up for him. He was going to win the Cruiserweight title. I was going to win the women's title. We were going to be a power couple. Until that witch Lita had her boyfriend injure mine. All in an attempt to get in my head. Look here, Lance. I know you got a match with Matt in Survivor Series. And I need you to not only win, but I want you to break him like he did to my Gregory. Don't just do it for Canada. Do it for me." And then Lance kind of smiles and he says, "Oh, I promise you, Molly. When I'm through with Matt Hardy, he won't be able to walk out of Canada. But why wait till Sunday? When you and I get them both tonight. That's actually why I came looking for you, to let you know that you and I are next. Are you ready?" And then Molly just gets a smile on her face and she says just, "Let's go," pretty much. As we're getting ready for an intergender tag team match. Lance Storm coming across well here. Huh. That's interesting. Lance Storm. Usually he's not rated that well. It did lose heat for the Storm-Matt Hardy feud, but I'm sure we can gain that back. We move on to the next segment. Presumably back from a commercial break, we go to a 70C plus rating. Mean Gene, he's backstage, and he says, "All right, fans, joining me at this time are the WCW Tag Team Champions, Eddie and Chavo Los Guerreros." Eddie, Chavo, what in the world did we just witness out there? And then Eddie goes, "What do you mean, Gene? Rules are rules. And when you break them, you suffer the consequences. Jindrak hit me with the steel chair, and Mean Gene, too many wrestlers get away with that nowadays. The ref gets knocked down and people take advantage of it. Luckily for me, I got one of the most smarter refs who can obviously tell when somebody cheated. And then Mean Gene, of course, he can clearly tell that Eddie's just bullshitting him. He goes, "What in the world are you talking about? Oh, Jesus!" And when he says, "Oh, Jesus," that's because Power Plant rushes in, and they just immediately begin the brawl with both Eddie and Chavo. Los Guerreros beating them down. Regal's in the background, talking his shit, bragging to them. Eventually, Sean Stasiak picks Chavo Guerrero up, and he tosses Chavo Guerrero into one of those steel garage doors like a dot a la, or pretty much paying homage to an old WCW angle. One of their more memorable ones where Kevin Nash did pretty much the same thing of tossing Rey Mysterio into like an RV or something, like a dart. So I just kind of wanted to pay homage there. And then meanwhile, we got Eddie Guerrero running at, Mark Jindrak to take him down, but he gets caught up. Mark Jindrak tosses Eddie in the air with a pop-up powerbomb, a la Kevin Owens here, onto one of those steel crates in the backstage area that's just kind of sitting around. And then they just kind of leave the tag team champions out, pretty much sending their warning at the pay-per-view, we're not falling for that crap again, pretty much. Crowd got hot over this angle. They were into this. Eddie was good. Chavo underperformed. That is okay. Moving on to the next segment is our intergender tag team match. We get a 74 B- here. Not a bad match at all. And about that had decent wrestling, but not much Wayne Heat. Lance Storm and Molly Holly going over Matt Hardy and Lita in 10 minutes and 16 seconds after Molly defeats Lita with the Molly Go Round. So Molly actually getting a pinfall victory just days away from Survivor Series over the women's champion, gaining quite a bit of momentum on her side. Unfortunately, though, Molly was the weak link in the match, so that is unfortunate, but that is okay as well. I'm sure she will improve in the meantime. Stupid. Anyway, color commentary gave it a boost. Molly with a 44, which honestly isn't that bad. Lance Storm, though, with an impressive 80. Good on ya. Lita with a 61, and Matt with a 73. Wow, Lita's really not that far behind Matt. Gained heat to each of the storylines, which that's pretty cool. So we go into our next segment, which gets a 68 C+ rating here. The match is over, but Molly isn't quite finished with Lita, as she's convinced that Lita set Matt up to injure her boyfriend, obviously. She gets on top of Lita, she just starts to beat her down, striking her. Lita's fighting back, so we now have pretty much a cat fight on her hand as they roll around, pulling each other's hair, slamming each other's heads in the match. Typical cat fight, guys. It's quickly broken up by both Lance Storm and Matt Hardy as they pull, Molly and Lita apart from each other. Lance is telling Molly to, of course, wait till Sunday. It's not worth it. Of course, while the two men are getting the women out of the ring, Lance Storm takes advantage of the quick distraction and turns around and lands a last call super kick right on Matt Hardy, taking him down before retreating with Molly Holly, leaving Lita to get back in the ring and check on her boyfriend. So, not a good night for Matt and Lita. Lance Storm looked good, I would hope. I mean, he landed a super kick and got away with it. Molly performed poorly, though, which that is unfortunate, but I'm sure once we use her more and more, she'll get better. Molly Holly's very good, in my opinion. Underrated, if you ask me. So we go into a 75 B- here, just showing that Shane McMahon has officially arrived. As you know, we heard earlier that Shane McMahon is going to have a huge announcement, and now he is here, and we're just like, oh boy, what's going to be the announcement? Shane McMahon is here, and it's just a matter of minutes, pretty much. I mean, it's not next, but we'll see it soon. As Shane McMahon is definitely here, and he's got a huge announcement, Nerds and Geeks. We go into a 52 D+ rating here in a match that doesn't make much sense, because why the hell would WCW allow Tommy Dreamer, an ECW star, to just, wrestle on their show, but I needed to do it because of the storyline with Tommy and Raven. Either way, though, we go to an abysmal match here, with Tommy Dreamer going over a local talent, Bobby Roode. Don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He's kind of a nobody. He might be glorious someday, though. And 3 minutes, 22 seconds with a pile driver. Come on, Tommy, where's your Dreamer driver? Either way, 52 D+ is not bad at all here. Okay, I got a little worried, Nerds and Geeks. I was like, what? Tommy Dreamer got injured? He sustained a flu. So Tommy Dreamer got sick? I'm sure he'll be fine. Tommy with an in-ring performance of a 55, and Bobby Roode got a 17. I'm sure we'll see improvement to that over time, though. I'm not sure if this was his first match. It actually might have been his first match in the game. So good on him there. As we move on to, yeah, we know he got we know he got the foo, Johnny Ace. Tommy didn't get hurt, he got sick, so Bobby Roode must have been sick too. You can't be mad at Bobby Roode for something that stupid. Either way, we go to a 57 C- rating here. After the match, instead of Tommy Dreamer's music playing, Raven shows up on the Titantron and he says, Tommy, hey, Tommy, I'm getting real tired of seeing your face around here. Don't you understand that I hate your guts? You follow me everywhere, from summer camp to ECW to here. You're like an annoying little brother who just likes to get beat. Tommy, it's time you and I end this petty feud. At Survivor Series, Tommy, I invite you to my own personal house of fun. This feud between you and I comes to an end, whether you show up or not. And then I imagine, the Titantron going to maybe think like Bray Wyatt whenever his thing's in, it goes to that thing. But instead of it doing that, it's kind of just like, like a Raven, and then it just cuts out. Like the feed just cuts out, leaving Tommy in the ring as he's just kind of sitting there like nodding his head, kind of agreeing to it, to be honest. Even though it's not a confirmation, we'll go ahead and book it in as well. Which, to my surprise, there is actually a House of Fun match here. But it is based on high spots, which, no. We're going to have to kind of copy this. It's not really the House of Fun. I think what they're thinking is Crash Holly. Let's go ahead and call this Raven's House of Fun. We'll just say a dark, twisted, hardcore style match from the twisted mind of Raven. We'll even go make it hardcore. Weapons, oh yes, there's got to be weapons. I'm trying to think of what else. Could we do barbed wire? No, I don't think WWE would let them. Oh, light tubes. Let's go ahead and do thumbtacks. I think we can do thumbtacks. There you go, pinfall. At least low. Alright. Low. Watch us not be able to do this match, which I'll be pissed if it does. Alright, let's go to one. Okay, I hate this, but anyway, here it is. Raven's House of Fun. And it'll be Raven versus longtime rival Tommy Dreamer. House of Fun match. Boom. So we got that match booked in. No worker improvements. Yes. We move on to our next match, which gets a solid C rating here with a 65. Not too bad, guys. That's actually pretty impressive. And about that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it. Billy Kidman going over Just Incredible in 7 minutes, 34 seconds with the Shooting Star Press. A little surprised with this match. I mean, maybe a C- is what I expected. Not a solid C. Just Incredible. There you go, my man. Earning your paycheck tonight. Kidman with a 64, Credible with a 44. Justin's also improving in flying, so you can't complain there. As we move on to our next segment, which gets a solid C rating here with a 64 as well. Not bad. After the match, Tori, she rushes into the ring. She jumps into Billy's arms. The couple are celebrating, kissing and all that. That's when Spike Dudley's music hits, and out comes the number one contender to the Cruiserweight Championship. And he comes out and he says, "Aw, how cute. I see you didn't heed my warning on Sunday Night Heat, but I really advise you do, Billy, because trust me, Tori will leave you just like Molly left me. This isn't about me and my emotions. This is about me looking out for another man. That way he doesn't have to go through what I'm going through. But since you won't listen to me, then I'm just going to have to show you this Sunday Because once I beat you for that Cruiserweight Championship, she'll leave you for something bigger and better. Just wait. You'll see. And I just walks to the back, leaving them to sit there. And I'll be honest with you, Nerds and Geeks, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with Billy and Spike, so I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Should we have Billy and Spike be the main event of Sunday Night Heat? Or should we let them go on to the main card of Survivor Series? Let me know what you guys think below, and I'll go ahead and book it accordingly. If I don't hear anything, I'm just going to keep it on Heat, though. So either way, Tori was good, but she was based on sex appeal, so that doesn't surprise me. Spike was very underwhelming, which, that's okay. And to be honest, that's probably why this did so well, is because Tori, was based on sex appeal. Did gain heat for the feud, though, so that's okay with me. You ain't gonna hear me complaining. Shane McMahon comes out with a 94 A rating here. Solid A. Not too bad, Shane. Good for you, my man. Coming out by himself as his music hits, makes his way down to the ring. The commentators, of course, trying to guess what the hell Shane's huge announcement is. Shane gets in the ring, he takes the mic, and he says, "What's up, Ontario?" All night long, throughout the night, everyone has been wondering and everyone has been asking me, what's the big announcement? Well, that's why I'm out here. You see, this Sunday, WCW's in danger. If WCW loses War Games, then we're done. But that's not going to happen. You see, if I have the utmost confidence in Team WCW, and to show just how confident I am in my team, I have signed one of the biggest stars to ever come out of WCW. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will turn your attention to the screen, and of course he points to the Titantron, as a video package plays, announcing WCW's newest signee, Goldberg. An A-star rating as the video package plays, maybe playing his theme song as we see him mauling through people, and it says Goldberg next week on Nitro. So Shane McMahon has taken a big gamble here, Nerds and Geeks. WCW better win, because if they don't, he just invested a lot of money in Goldberg. Written contract, so it's guaranteed money no matter what. And if Nitro's over, Goldberg ain't going to be there pretty much, so it might not be a thing, but either way, Goldberg apparently is coming to WCW. We then go to the main event of the night, Nerds and Geeks, which gets a solid B rating here with an 82. I think there was an angle before this, so that might be the closing segment, but I guess that's okay. 82 rating here, and a superb match. Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page going over The Rock and Kurt Angle in 12 minutes, 51 seconds when Booker T defeats Kurt Angle with their scissor kick after a distraction from Shane McMahon. So Shane McMahon played a part in this as well. DDP was the weak link, unfortunately, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance, but his age is catching up to him, so that's to be expected, considering everyone else pretty much had 90s here. And he was off his game. But either way here, pretty much the match is going great. We get the distraction, which allows Booker T to gain the advantage and, I guess, beat Kurt Angle for the first time, showing that maybe you don't have my number. But like I said, I believe I had a storyline segment or an angle in between these, so I think that's going to be the closing segment, which sucks. Page was off his game, like I said before. Kurt Angle with an 89, The Rock with a 98, DDP with a 78, and Booker T with a 90. It did lose heat for the Rock DDP feud, which is unfortunate. But Rock is improving in technical. And yep, there is another segment which was this, but I guess that's okay because it gained the heat back to the feud. This was supposed to be before the main event, so let's just imagine that this happened because I'm not changing the whole thing. But it did get an A-star 95 rating, so you won't hear me complaining too much here. Booker T, he's getting ready for the match that already happened by now. That's when DDP enters the room, and Book goes, "Paige, what the hell do you want? It's bad enough I got a team with your sleazy ass tonight. Now I gotta hang out with you before the match too? Hell nah." And then DDP says, "Look here, Book. I know you don't like me, and I don't really like you all that much. But you and I are still WCW guys. In fact, you and I are really the only WCW guys. Think about it. Benoit, Giant, the Steiners, hell, even Flair have all worked under Vince at one point. But you and I, we made our names in WCW. We bleed WCW. And tonight, we represent WCW. And then come Sunday, you represent WCW. So do I, but you're defending the WCW championship while I'm fighting for it. Or while you're defending the WCW while I'm fighting for it, not the championship. And while I've beaten Rock before, you've never beaten Angle. So tonight, you need to stop focusing on me and focusing on showing Kurt Angle that he's got the wrong number. See you out there, champ. And he walks out there and we go to our main event, which we already know got like an 80-something. Shayna helped Booker, again. That's fine, I guess. Booker was a real star. DDP came across well. I guess DDP hinted at a face turn somehow here. And it gained heat for the two feuds, especially helping out DDP and Rock's feud since it did lose heat there. Solid A rating here, Nerds and Geeks, with an 89 to end off for the overall show, increasing our popularity in a total of 8 regions. Not too shabby. Not too shabby for a episode of Nitro, if I do say so myself. Fantastic reviews. Anything? Oh, yeah, that's right. The flu. I forgot. I was like, oh, what the hell? He's injured. Look at this. Sustained the flu during the match last night. No confirmation has come through, but it's reporting he left the ring under his own power. Really? AJ Styles is back to 100%. That's good. And Road Dogg. So despite Road Dogg hating us, strong dislike of Vince McMahon, despite him hating us, he is now going to work for NWA Wildside. By the way, under our character name, I could sue. You're lucky you're part of my developmental. But either way, Road Dogg is going to NWA as well as Carlito. Carly Colon, Carlito. Huh. Good for NWA. Look at them. Bradshaw has officially returned. Tommy Dreamer's injured. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Ready? Physical. He's just working through a flu. Does he not like Bobby Roode now? Simmering tension with Bobby Roode. I don't like fucking Bobby Roode. He gave me the flu one time. Okay. Credible said his momentum is in the toilet. Okay. Kurt Angle. Mark Jindrak is star in the making. This kid could make us some serious money in the future. Duly noted. The Rock. Matt Hardy's turning into a good worker. He's worth getting behind. DDP. Spike Dudley doesn't connect with the fans. The kid has little upside. So I got a couple positives, but Paige, usually the man who is a positivity guy, being a little bit of a negative here tonight. Either way, though, Nerds and Geeks, that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And as always, my name has been OMGWTF, LOLTWBRB, and I will see you guys for Sunday Night Heat and Survivor Series. So until then, have a great day. That is not what I wanted to do. I went to Task Manager.